Okay, Blitzrad crash time. This is a fun, challenging fight. Everything does come together properly. I'm using Aerith, Glenn, Seth. Focuses on healing for Aerith as well as some lightning resist. She's got lightning resist via Mithril Rod and her prime number. Brought her heal and buff extension. Glenn's job's going to be the main DPS. He's also bringing lightning resist. And then Seth as well, lightning resist via his nameless plus his Leviathan cutter. Glenn was using Leviathan Buster. Seth has a free spot, so I've given him one of the party weapons. Seth's bringing Shiva. Glenn is bringing Leviathan. My Leviathan isn't fully maxed, so your damage may be better than mine. In my case, start off here with Glenn. Send a debuff. I waited a little bit so that way his debuff lasted a little bit longer. Same thing with Aerith, waited a little before I sent hers. I switched to Glenn so that way he didn't send anything right here at the start, because had he sent an ability, it would have connected, but the limit would not have charged because it would have been too close to boss animation. At this point, it's just made sure that Aerith sends out a heal before she sends out her spiritual harmony, otherwise it would not have given magic defense high. And at this point, same thing, switch to Glenn so that way he didn't spend his ATB, and switch stances back to Aerith in preparation to heal. I'm going to stances to not lose my gauge, waiting for them to send their attacks. And since I didn't see them send their attacks fast enough, switch to Glenn, sense an attack, and then toss out a heal. And rinse and repeat. So now at this point, target the bombs. This first wave of bombs you do have to target individually. It's going to take 3 attacks, either 2 from Seth plus 1 from Glenn, or 1 from Seth and 2 from Glenn. On the right ad, I took 2 on Seth, 1 on Glenn. Left ad, I did the other 2 on Glenn, 1 on Seth. Back to Blitzrad, debuffing him. Notice I also switched stances in hopes that I would time it properly and get Aerith to actually do something as far as heal or buff. My timing was a little off. I do make a number of mistakes throughout this. Upcoming is about to be one right here. Ideally, I top off healing here in hopes that I can refresh some debuffs from Glenn. But what I should have done is actually waited for the limit break so I could send everyone all together. Okay, got everyone's limits up, and we're looking good. We're going into defensive for this. Everybody's got magic defense high. Buffs are out. Glenn needs to refresh his water damage up, so I'll toss out a heal on Aerith, and then I'll pop limit when I should have saved it, because this heal did give Glenn enough health to refresh his water damage up, and then I could have sent all 3 together for even bigger damage. So now I'm waiting on the ads to spawn, refreshing Glenn's water damage up, and then sending the limits to kill the ads, as well as do big damage to the boss. And that's pretty much how every ad phase will work. You'll send summons to kill the ads. And since I noticed he's doing physical attack, I refresh Saving Grace for physical defense up. And back to the 2 DPS to pump out some more damage. A little bit of stance in hopes of reducing damage, plus having Aerith actually do a heal, but she did not, so switch to her, send out a heal. I made a mistake right there with Glenn. I should have refreshed his water damage up, and instead I opted to do 2 attacks. And one of those didn't even count towards his ATB. Had I did the water damage up buff, since it would have been faster cast, it would have actually counted.
It's okay, the AI will clean up my mistake and refresh Glenn's water damage up buff for me. And refreshing Spiritual Harmony for physical attack up as well as magic defense high. And after this Rolling Thunder, we'll toss out a heal, get everyone top back up. And just queued their attacks so that way they didn't send it while I was in defense healing. And same thing here. Now, I sent these summons right away as soon as I could, when ideally I should have waited. I should have tossed out one more heal from Aerith, and then sent them all together. There was no rush. Okay, I'm back tossing out that hill. And bright side is this stall right here. Got me enough time to go ahead and toss out another Spiritual Harmony. So that way I can have magic defense high for this attack. Even though the attack was landing as I hit it, but because I queued it before the attack landed, magic defense high actually did land. Topped everybody off. And at this point, it's just a slow and steady grind. Physical attack has fallen off, so I'm refreshing that on Aerith. There's the first overheat. We'll wait for his second, the overcharge. When we see overcharge, sigil phase. There's overcharge. So now it's time to break sigils. Now both Glenn and Seth have a 5 sigil break via their rune res on the 3rd materia slot. I do like to switch between them just in case, especially if their buffs are falling, like Glenn's here with his water damage up. Otherwise he might wind up doing that during sigil phase, and that would not be good. I switch to Aerith here to refresh Spiritual Harmony. And time to kill the ads, as well as do big damage to the boss. Now, my mistake here is that I should have switched to Seth and refreshed water damage up on the boss, because he does not have water in peril. And now it's just the same thing, overcharge coming, so pulling ATB and then hitting the rune rods. I noticed here that physical attack down is falling, so instead of allowing Aerith to refresh it, I switched to her to also use her runas. So now I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between Aerith and Glenn. Okay, and now that they're both done, I'll let Glenn refresh his water damage up. And I'll have Aerith refresh physical attack up. And I'll just pump in a little bit more damage in between until his next overcharge for sigil phase. Here it is. And spam it. Interrupt this. This is the last one. 55 sigils to break though. So once again, I'm just sticking on Glenn in case. And I'm also hopping to Seth just to try to make him go a little bit faster. I don't want to risk this because it does cut really close. Okay. And then just refreshing buffs, pumping additional damage. He's summoning the ads, and we're setting limits. As soon as this kills them, then it's time to just finish off the boss with additional attacks, making sure that your buffs are still up. Now this was not my first kill, this was actually my 3rd kill, but
My first kill was 7 minutes 4 seconds. This one is 7 minutes flat. However, I did optimize the gear for this one, but there were still mistakes, so it could have been a faster kill. Good luck on your clears, guys. I don't have Leviathan maxed. I don't have the new weapons maxed, so I'm sure you can do better. Good luck on your clears.